Hi, this is Jennifer Dunlap. My data overview is called Striving for Success Together. This is for Booth Middle School 7th grade. The purpose of this presentation is to review school demographics, identify strengths and weaknesses within school achievement data, and to begin the process of creating an action plan to identify high expectations based on improving student achievement while meeting the needs of diverse students. Teacher demographics, we have 85 teachers total. Most of them have their master's degree, specialists, or doctorates. You can see over the past 5 years that the certificate level hasn't changed too much for the teachers at the school. There are more female teachers than male teachers, and the majority of teachers are white. Student demographics. By gender, it stayed around the same for the past 5 years. There's a total of about 1,200 students at our school. Student enrollment by ethnicity, you can see around 60% of our students are white, with the rest being Asian, Black, Hispanic, or multiracial. Demographic student enrollment by subgroup, we have a small percentage of limited English proficiency, and then we have again a small percentage of eligible for free or reduced meals. That's around 15-16% of our students, and students with disability is right around 10% of our students, and economically disadvantaged is right around 19% of our students. Speaking of free and reduced meals, you can see that throughout the past 5 years, it stayed around 14-15%. And the ESOL population, you can see that it has grown over the past 5 years. And our education programs have stayed basically the same the past 5 years, with the majority of students in regular education, and then about 1/3 of our students, or 1/4, in gifted, and a small percentage in special education. CCRPI scores. This is an overview of what CCRPI scores are and how they can be used in data. Compared to the school district and state, we perform most of the time better than the district and state, except for this last school year. And compared to other middle schools in the district, we fall right in the middle. Rising Star has the highest CCRPI score. So that raises questions like, what is Rising Star and Whitewater doing that we are not doing to reach a higher CCRPI score each year? And how can we continue to improve our overall CCRPI score? And our strengths, we have better scores than the state, and most of the time the district, and our content mastery tends to be the highest score each year. Weaknesses, CCRPI score decreased by 5 points from the previous school year, so what changed that? We also have a low percentage in closing the gap, so how can we improve our ability to close the gap for our students? All right, let's take a look at the Georgia milestones. These are the different levels for Georgia milestones. And you can see in English that the school year for 2014-15, 2015-16, 2016-17 hasn't really changed too much. But in 2017-18, you can see that there's a little dip in the amount of students who score level 3 and level 4. So here is an overview from year to year of how our students did for the language arts assessment. Most of our students, you can see, are in the category level 3, with a low percentage of students meeting at a level 1. Here's our math milestones achievements. This is for year 2014-15. 2015-16, you can see it increased a little bit. 2016-17, and again it increased a little bit in 2017-18. So here's an overview of the math milestones for school years 2015 through 2018. You can see that our level 3 and 4 students are high, and we have 70% or so of our students meeting and exceeding in the mathematics category. Science, I only have data for 2014, 15, and 16. So you can see that around 62 to 69% of our students are meeting or exceeding in science. And then social studies, the same thing. You can see that there was a large jump in the last 2 years that students took the milestones from 51% meeting to 70% meeting. So common strengths, student growth. There tends to be a trend that shows that most years all content levels are showing student growth in all subject areas. In math specifically, more students meet or exceed the standards in the last standardized test, which was school year 2017-18, than any other school year. And 7th grade performance overall, Booth has a high amount of level 3 and level 4 students compared to level 1 and level 2. Weaknesses. In math and English, the school year 2015-16 showed the highest scores for exceeding on the standardized test. This could possibly be because that was the last year the CRCT was taken and then we switched over to the milestones. So was there a difference between those tests? So what occurred this year to cause such a high performance compared to other years? And in English, there tends to be a small decrease in performance from 2016-17 school year to 2017-18. All right, comparison of our school versus the district and state. So you can see here that in each subject area, Booth outperforms the district and the state on the Georgia milestones. And this is for 2015-16, same thing. 2016-17, you can see that Booth outperforms again in both English and math, since science and social studies are not taken this year. And again, we outperform the district and state for 2017-18 as well. And here is an overview of all of those school years and the percentage of our students that meet exceed. And this is for math. And for science overall, how our students are reaching the levels, and for social studies. So common strengths show that we're meeting, exceeding. The data shows that students at Booth outperform other students in the district and the state on standardized tests in all subject areas. Students perform between the school and district are very similar in all subject areas, and that must mean that teachers are collaborating on content and curriculum maps across the district. And both the school and the district show growth in most school years on standardized tests. Weaknesses in English, the percentage of meet exceeding in English has dropped 4% from school year 2016-17 to 2017-18. And in science, the percentage of students who are at a level 1 beginner level is the highest in science. So what can be done to move these students from a level 1 to the next level to show student growth? All right, subgroups for the Georgia milestones. We're going to focus on gender. That our students for male and female each year, they're right around the same for level 3 and 4. They might differ a little bit. If we break it down year by year, 2014-15, you can see in English that females are outperforming males. And here's the school year 2015-16 and 2016-17. So you can see the male population is increasing in level 3 and 4 over the 3-year period. And here is an overview of math. So you can see again that males and females perform similar to one another, but not exactly the same. If we break it down by year, you can see that females score higher in a level 3, but males score higher in a level 4 in 2014-15. Here's 2015-16. This is the school year where they were most similar. And then 2016-17, again, females score better at a level 3, but males score higher at a level 4. So common strengths. For English, although males meet and exceed the standards less than females, they are performing better in the school years 2015-16 and 2016-17 than in 2014 and 15. And in math, both male and female student performances are similar to each other within an 8% range of each level of performance. In the school year 2015-16 in mathematics, female and male students performed very similar than any other school year. Weaknesses. In English, overall, female students meet and exceed the standards more often than their male counterparts. There seems to be a disconnect between the male student and English content. And in math, the amount of female students who meet exceeded the standards decreased by 5% from school year 2015-16 to 2016-17. Meanwhile, the amount of male students who meet and exceed has increased every school year. So what's causing females to fall behind in math? All right, let's look at ethnicity. So you can see this is the English Georgia Milestones Assessment for Ethnicity school year 2014-15. Okay, and here's the data chart for that. And this is school year 2015-16. And the data chart for that school year. 2016-17, you can see most students are performing at a level 3 each year. And for math, 2014-15, you can see Asian scoring at a level 4, the highest percent, 60% of them. And the data chart for that. And for 2015-16, again, Asian scoring at a level 4 is the highest, right around 60%. And 2016-17, same kind of trend happening almost every school year. And here's the data chart for that. All right, so what are some common strengths in ethnicity? Well, for English, the amount of African American students who performed at a level 1 decreased from 27.1% in 2014-15 to 5.3% in 2015-16. So that's a huge decrease, which is great. Math, it meets and exceeds students who are African American or Hispanic and are meeting exceeding the standards is increasing each school year. And math level 1s, the amount of African American students who perform at a level 1 is continuing to decrease each school year. Common weaknesses. Closing the gap. There tends to be a large gap in performance between white and Asian students and their peers. What's causing this gap, and how can teachers work to ensure that the gap is closed? What programs or strategies can be used specifically for Hispanic or African American students? And then English. Between school years 2015-16 and 16-17, African American students who met or exceeded the standards fell by 16%. So, what's next? Well, we need to address the areas of weakness in content, gender, and ethnicity, and ask questions about the data and formulate solutions. Then we need to meet to discuss what strategies can be put in place for student success. Then we need to try implementing these strategies with student groups and reviewing material for individualized instruction. And then we need to prepare our students for taking the test and helping them move from a level 1-2 performance on the assessment to a level 3 or 4. And here's some action steps. Meet regularly during collaborative planning time to discuss and review data, focus on the strengths and weaknesses within the standards. Step 2, share strategies that work and discuss ways to improve those strategies that don't. Create student-centered learning activities with personalized learning opportunities and revisit data as assessments are given. And step 3, continue to share and discuss data on student performance during planning. Engage in professional learning that addresses the weaknesses of student performance. All right, so data overview. Let's discuss the who, what, when, where, and how, and why. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.